Did you try Kubernetes lab? All of you. Kubernetes lab, all are done, right? Or
Yeah.
deploying application, deployed, right?
Yes.
What about others? Shilpa, Amba, Venkat?
No, I haven't done. I need to do.
Sorry.
I haven't done. I will do tomorrow, and
Ah,
if anything happens, I will will check with you.
okay.
Yeah, I'll also finish too.
I haven't done.
Okay. Any doubt, anyone, for the basic setups?
Regarding the recordings, is it the same link
No.
that you pasted earlier, or
Yes, same.
we-
Okay. So, some concepts in Kubernetes. We need to learn some services in Kubernetes. Okay. These are the 3 services. Okay, these are the 3 services that we use as per our needs. Okay, when creating, when deploying application. Okay, for which purpose we are creating service for our application, we need to expose, right? For that, in Kubernetes, we create service YAML, right? For the previous class, we created a service connection and that connection for load balancer, right? Because that connection we need to expose to outside the cluster. So anyone have internet access this application using the URL, right? So that we will expose our application pointing to load balancer service. Okay. So similar way, we have two more services like node port and cluster IP. So when we use cluster IP and node port, that's all as per different scenario. Okay. For example, if you work with the DevOps engineer, okay, so in your organization there is an application is under development, consider under development. Okay. So when an application under development, we need to test as a different times we need to test the application, right? So we didn't put the entire application to any cluster, I mean any Kubernetes cluster. For that, mostly we are using a service called Minikube. Anyone heard about Minikube?
No.
It simulates a cluster.
Yes. Minikube is a service. So we can install the service in, for example, uh, we need to learn Kubernetes, okay? Or we have some application, so we need to test the application. So we didn't create a entire Kubernetes cluster like EKS or similar like that. So instead of that, we can create a Minikube, a small version of Kubernetes, and we can test our application inside the Minikube. This is a minimal setup of Kubernetes actually, mostly for learning purpose and testing purpose. Got it? So we did in, this is like a minimal setup comparing with the EKS. We can take any one machine, like for example, how to configure Minikube, create a virtual machine, and we can directly install the Minikube inside our virtual machine. Then we can access, sorry, before that we need to install the kubectl and all the things. Then we can working same as a Kubernetes. Okay. So when we use Kubernetes, learning purpose and development purpose. For example, if we are, yeah, same scenario. Our application development stage, so we need to test our application different times. So we can set up a Minikube and run the test simultaneously on our Minikube. So whenever we will get a successful deployment, then we will move the same YAML file to production EKS. This is production consider. Okay. Okay. So for development purpose, we can use the node port actually instead of load balance and cluster IP. Node port is, for example, node port is a service in Kubernetes. So why we are using node port? It's for development purpose. Mostly we are using the node port, and we can choose as, I mean, node port instead of load balancer, but some small size application we can use node port. Mostly node port using for development scenarios. For example, this is our virtual machine. Okay, consider this is the development stage. So inside the virtual machine, we have set up Minikube. The Minikube is running inside the machine. Okay. So inside the Minikube, we deploy application, pod, no pod and contain all the things. So this is our pod. And inside the pod our container running. Container with the application. Okay. So this is virtual machine. Yeah. So how we access the application? Only we running this in a virtual machine, not a fully fledged case or anything. So there is no load balancer and all things. So for that, we can configure load balancer and attach, but for development stage, we didn't go with the load balancer. So we can choose another service for accessing our application. So this scenario, we can use node port. So how your node port work? Create a service and we need to point service type PySQL to node port. So we can access this application using the IP of this virtual machine. So accessing the virtual machine IP, then using the port, this port port number. Okay. So that way we are using our application using node port service. For this scenario, we need to do some steps for we need to port forward our application to the local machine. I mean the virtual machine IP. That is called a port forwarding. Port forwarding, it's nothing. Container port. Okay, consider there is a pod. We have a pod and a container. So we need to pointing our port forward to our local machine, virtual machine. So we can using virtual machine IP to access our application along with the port number of the application container. Clear it or confused?
Can you repeat one more time?
Which scenario? I mean,
Port one, this,
port
how
forward.
it, yeah, port for.
This is our virtual machine. Okay. So inside the virtual machine, we install a Minikube. So then inside Minikube, we have deploy application. So this is our pod and this is our application. App. This is container. This is pod. And this is the VM. Okay. So this container is isolated, right? I mean the pod, for example, there's another pod here. Okay. So these pods are isolated, right? Pod 1 and pod 2.
Yes.
So there is no connection or there is no connectivity from the virtual machine to the pod, okay? Because these are isolated. For that, we are using a command port forward. Port forward. Port forward for accessing our application using the virtual machine IP. So using Kubernetes command, we use the service port forward for the the container port to assign the container port to our virtual machine IP. So we can use the virtual machine IP with the port number of the application. We can access our application. So this is the way we accessing uh, application in development stage.
Okay.
So we have one lab, so you will get more idea and go with the lab.
So
Then
what is the use of the Minikube here?
using Minikube, we will set up an entire cluster inside a small machine, virtual machine. Only we use a virtual machine here. And inside the virtual machine, we install Minikube. So after we will get a Kubernetes cluster for a development purpose or learning. Otherwise, we need to configure a full Kubernetes cluster, right? A production level Kubernetes cluster. I mean, previous class, we configure production level Kubernetes cluster. Got it.
Okay. Right.
And
For development and test, we use Minikube
yes.
to set up cluster.
Yes. Mostly we are set up Minikube for learning purpose.
Mhm.
Then cluster IP. This is another service in Kubernetes. These are the services available in Kubernetes, okay, when creating service.yaml. So the cluster IP is mostly when we use like internal communication, okay. This is purely internal communication inside the cluster. internal communication inside cluster. For example, we have a Kubernetes cluster. Okay. So consider this is a worker part. We have node and pod, all things are here. Like different pods are in a Kubernetes node. So these are the pods, okay. These are the node 2, and these are the pods. So for example, we have an application. Okay. So this is a front-end application running in a pod, and one back-end application is running in another pod, one database in another pod. Okay. So coming to database, okay, we didn't expose our service for any. I mean, we need to keep it as safe, right? I mean, database. So for that scenario, we can use cluster IP. So create a service for the database, and that is only for cluster IP. Then we can attach our database to any front end or back end, any application. So we can use a selector keyword for pointing our application. So this database service is purely in internal communication only. Internal means only port-to-port communication. There is no connectivity outside the cluster. No connection, only inside communication. For that scenario, we will use cluster IP. For example, this load balancer needs to talk with the internet or exposed internet. We need to choose any one from here, node port or load balancer. Got it?
Not the last two
So
lines.
cluster.
Yes.
So cluster IP is for only internal communication on
Only
the cluster,
internal, only internal port-to-port communication.
and node port is for the
Node
particular
port
node.
is node port is similar, but for accessing we will do the port forwarding so that we can access our application using machine IP.
And then for load balancer, there's a load balancer service.
For load balancer, it's purely production level. We need to choose load balancer. So if we configure managed Kubernetes service, then we didn't install load balancer separately because it's automated by managed EKS. So the load balancer configuration done by AWS. Otherwise, for example, it's self-hosted Kubernetes cluster. We need to configure the load balancer. Got it?
Okay.
Any other doubt?
So cluster IP is only for the private one?
All are private actually. This is internal communication, only for internal communication.
Okay.
For
So
example,
what's the difference? Like when to select cluster IP and when to go with the node port service? As understood, like node port is for connection for one port to another. There is no
Node port
access.
we are using for port forwarding scenario. For example, development phase or testing phase. That phase we are using node port. Load balancer is purely for production level. This is considered, this is dev. And cluster IP for only internal communication, port to port communication. Got it?
Port to port communication within one node.
Yes. Within 1 hour, we can choose this, another node, no problem. Because we can point that. I mean, scheduler, for example, this application have front end, back end, any other service. Consider this is a microservice application. Okay. This all are a same application and we deployed as microservice. Got it? Consider this is Flipkart application like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, got it.
Sometimes the application backend will go to this pod, right? Node, right? That all managed by the master part. So that's not a problem. In just pointing, I mean, in YAML file we can select selector option there. So we need to make sure our application name and all things are same in the selector. So the Kubernetes know this application is interrelated with these services and these services like that. In previous scenario, see how the service know this is connected with this application. Because here you see the selector. So the selector keyword, we need to mention our application name. So the app is equal to Angular app. So the service know there is an Angular app in, I mean the deployment. So here our application name is Angular app. So this service know this is related to this application.
Okay, got it.
Similar way, we need to pointing different scenario. For example, some databases there, so we need to mention the database name like that. Similar way, okay.
Okay, sir.
Clear.
Yeah, got it.
So mostly we are using different services in different scenario, and yeah. So there are two types of deployment that we done in Kubernetes. One is declarative, and the next one is imperative. So any idea about the imperative and declarative way of deployment? Anyone?
In
So
declarative, you specifically ask for resources, whereas imperative, it is implied.
imperative? Once again. Amar.
So for imperative, it will allocate based on what you need, but declarative is you specify what you need.
Yes. Yeah, we can say like that, but declarative, we already covered the declarative part. So
Declarative might be like we declare all the commands and everything before using it, but imperative, as per requirement, we use the commands and
yes.
what
So the
like that.
example is this, right? So we can say this is declarative way of deployment. So if you choose declarative, then we need to create a deployment.yaml for the deployment of application, or application.yaml, or any name we can put there. Then we need to provide our application code and all things like this declarative way. So the application version, deployment type, I mean kind is equal to deployment, metadata, replicas, and all the things we specify inside the YAML file. Then we can apply the YAML file to Kubernetes. So the Kubernetes is pushing the application code to the corresponding node and creating container pod and all the things. So what is imperative then? Similar way, we can deploy this application in imperative way. Okay. So imperative way is nothing. Instead of creating a YAML file, we can directly using command lines. Okay. For example, we need to deploy an application like kubectl. Create. Then create what? The deployment. Okay. Deployment. We need to specify a deployment name. So we can use Nginx app or Nginx server. Then we need to mention the image name of Nginx. Here we mentioned, right, in declarative way. See, image is equal to Sujandran Reddy. Instead of that, we need to create a Nginx. This is a web server, okay? We can directly download the Nginx web server from corresponding repository. So we need to pointing the repository name in image is equal to Nginx. We can mention the version of latest. Then the replicas, we need to mention the replicas too. Here you see the replicas. So the replica equal to how many replicas we need, or like 3 or 4 like that. So when you hit enter, it will create pod with the Nginx container. Got it? So this is imperative way of deployment, and this is declarative way. So most probably we are using declarative way. This is for a quickly deployment, like for example, this scenario, same, we need to install Nginx. So we can directly go
But
with
you
the
don't have a
command.
YAML file here, right? You'd have like a very long command basically that you'd have to store
Yes,
or
yes.
save.
For imperative, we didn't have a YAML file. We don't need YAML file. We can you directly write the command and then it will download that pack image. And
When is it preferable to use imperative?
imperative is quickly, for example, we have some application. Okay, mostly test purpose we can use this imperative way. In production level, we mostly, not mostly, purely we go with the declarative way. We need to create YAML file and keep the YAML file. Then yeah, that's the scenario in production level. In test purpose, we can use this imperative way for example, we need to deploy applications. So quickly we can install some web server like Apache or Nginx. Then we can install that from directly from the Docker Hub. This image is purely in the Docker Hub. Okay, all images in that mentioned in declarative or imperative, that is related to Docker Hub actually. So all of you have, I mean, you take a Docker Hub account, okay, and GitHub account. So coming labs, we are, I mean, integrating these accounts. So all of you take GitHub and Docker Hub. It's easy process, just given some mail ID and create the account, that's all. I think you all have GitHub account, right?
Yes.
And take one Docker Hub account too, okay, all of you. Because we need to push our Docker image to our Docker Hub in some labs. So these images, all images, I mean, within our Docker Hub. So this is a way of creating a Docker Hub account. I have one account. So just here, Docker Hub, then sign up and give the username and password. Then you can go with the Docker Hub. After that, we can push our Docker Hub image. Okay, the image that we created in the Docker class. So we build some image, right? So we build some image, then the image that we run, okay? Before running, we can push the image in here in Docker Hub. So it will seen here. So in next time we didn't create a Docker file and build, we can directly push the Docker image from here and run the image. If the image is good, okay? So yeah, these are my images in my Docker Hub account. Similar way, go to GitHub, and if uh, someone didn't have the GitHub account, then go to GitHub and create a GitHub account. Because when coming to CI/CD pipeline, we are using GitHub as our code repository. So we need to push and integrate our GitHub account, creating CI/CD pipeline. Okay. So that's fine. Anyone have any doubt for the clarity, imperative? All good, right?
Yes.
So we can go with the Minikube lab, okay? So how to set up a Minikube for locally and running application so that I'm going to create a virtual machine for installing Minikube. So just to go to instance, launch Minikube. For Minikube, I think we need to, I'm going with Ubuntu, and T2 micro is not enough, I think. So I'm going with the T2 medium. Okay. So T2 medium have 2 GB RAM. Sorry, 2 core virtual CPU and 4 GB RAM. That's enough. This is not free tier actually. For running 1 hour, it will charge 0.046 like that. So after that, we quickly remove the machine. I am going to enable the public IP. Then everything is fine. Just create. My screen is visible, right?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes.
I think some permission issues. 1, 2, 3. Yes, no. Okay. Anyone know? Anyone can find?
IP,
No,
whether IP is correct or sudo.
no.
Might be this key is the correct key.
Yeah, key is correct. Correct key.
Because I generally get because of the key. I choose wrong key.
No. Key is a key. I use same key. Yes, no.
Did
Anyone?
you try the same command with sudo in the beginning?
Hmm. No. No need to put 0 because this is uh, Windows machine, right? So Windows machine, there is no
Oh,
command like
sudo.
0.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can try delete this key and try because it works for me.
Mm,
Try to create a new key. Sometimes it like
this is simple actually. For example, by default, I mean, when we configure Amazon Linux, the default username is EC2 user. Now I use not Amazon Linux. I
You're using
configure
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu. So we need to change the username here.
so where can we find the username?
This is a default actually.
Like
When
default
we,
username.
this is
There
default.
is a page right where we can see the default
Yes, we
username.
can see. We can see. Like just to go to connect. See here. This is our username. Got it.
I can't see that.
Oh, give me a second. See, just to go. I mean, select the machine. Okay. So this
Hmm.
is our AC2 machine. So I'm choosing Minikube first. Okay. Then connect. See, username is here to Ubuntu.
So by default it comes here.
Yes, by default the username is. For example, if I go with the Amazon Linux, okay. So I'm going with the Amazon Linux. The default username is this isn't. Give me a second. I'm getting a call. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. For Amazon Linux, its default username is EC2 user. We can see in here like
Maybe just Google default Amazon machine names. It'll come up. Some
yes.
table will come up.
Here it is not mentioned. I have also checked.
Yeah.
While connect it comes.
This is stop state. That's why. If the machine is running, just select the machine and connect. That's all. Here we can see in username. There's a username point here. So this is
Your
used
voice is
with
breaking
Ubuntu.
up. Can you repeat what you said?
Now it's clear, right?
Yeah, by default it comes here.
Yes.
While connect, we can see like by default it comes, but you can see then the note, what it is written note. Can you go down?
Hmm.
You scroll down a note. In most cases, the default username is Ubuntu is correct. However, what is this? However, because some criteria is also there, right? Some exceptional
However,
exceptions.
read your AMI usage instruction to check if the AMI owner has changed the default AMI username. This is AMI means Amazon machine image. Okay. For example, Ubuntu, there are different types of AMI there. AMI is actually say image actually.
Breaking. Your voice is breaking.
Now it's clear, right? Hello.
Right.
Now it's clear.
Yes, yes, it's clear
Yes,
now.
yes, clear, clear.
Yeah. The
There are
AMI
like
is
moments where we lose it, but most of the time it's clear.
okay. Now there's a call in my phone. That's why some fluctuation. So this is actually image of our I mean the operating system. Okay. So the same similar like the Docker image. Okay. So coming to operating system, there is a image. That image contains our all applications to running a operating system like Windows or Ubuntu or Red Hat, Amazon Linux, all the things. So sometimes, for example, the Ubuntu have different AMIs. That's why they mentioned. However, read the AMI usage for checking the username. So most probably the default username is Ubuntu. Otherwise, the username may be changing to some default thing like that.
Then, where can we get that when it's changed to AMI user? Where can you? When can we get the
The
detail?
owner of the AMI will tell you what the default names are because the AMI owner can change the default names.
Username, yeah. So where we can find then launching here. So here we can choose the browse more AMI. See here we can see this is for Amazon Linux AMI. This is one AMI and this is another AMI. See, this is AMI. This is a AMI number ID for the this Amazon Linux and this is for another Amazon Linux. For sometimes the username might be changed. Okay, that's there under the note like this is for Mac. So these are different AMI. So similar way, Ubuntu have different AMI. See, the AMI changed, ID changed. That is 17, and this is for 6B6 like that.
Yeah, but where is the username information that I'm asking?
No, username. All the things created by the one who create the image. Okay. For
Mhm.
example, we can push our image. For example, we have a on-premise virtual machine running. So how we move the virtual machine to cloud? Similar way, we can download the AMI in this AWS dashboard, and we can use the image. Okay, so that's way we moving our on-premise to cloud. So before moving the image, okay, the Ubuntu image, we have some username, right? That is not like Ubuntu or anything. For example, the admin at the rate or the some username like Joey or any name we can given to the login purpose authentication. So that's maybe changed. That's the under the note like however it's changing with like that. For this
Okay.
purpose, okay, for coming to AWS, the default is mostly not mostly 100% that is Ubuntu, and for AWS Linux, it's easy to user, and Ubuntu is Ubuntu.
Okay.
Then quickly we can configure the Minikube, right? Okay. So let's find. So what will we do first? First we need to sudo su. I'm going to root user, okay? So now I am in the root. Let's sudo, not sudo, apt update. So updation is done. This is actually for updating the package repository to ensure the latest information, okay? Just updating our repository, package repository. The next thing is I'm audible, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Now I'm going to install docker.io. So this is a command to
We,
install Docker in.
we can't see your recent command, like screen is stuck.
I can see the Docker IO -y. It's the bottom
Yes.
one.
Yes. Now we can. Yeah.
So this is a way installing Docker in Ubuntu, okay? So just check the version, Docker version, okay, 24.0.7. Fine. Nothing here. That's fine. Then we need to install Kubernetes, kubectl. Then we need to install Minikube setup file and all the things. So there's a command. See, this is the command for installing kubectl. Okay, so where we the repository you can see like https storage.googleapi.com Kubernetes release. So that is the repository where we're downloading the kubectl. And we make it executable. You can see like chmod +- and move the directory in our system path. So our system path is user local bin kubectl. So
It means from the storage, it
no,
is
no,
move downloading and
yes. First is curl, okay. Curl command to downloading some package from internet. That's why we are using curl. Okay, so then we need to mention the correct URL. So this is a URL, http storage Google, where the kubectl command exists. Okay, so it will download from the corresponding URL. Okay, then it will download. These are the things. Then we need to change the uh, permission for the
permission.
kubectl. That is executable. This is executable. Change modification plus and minus. for kubectl. Then we change the directory from here to user bin, our local machine directory, user local bin
So
kubectl.
by default, it is the downloading in the path bin Linux. This was the default one. So moving from this to local bin,
Yeah,
right?
moving to local bin.
Okay. Okay.
See, that's part done. So then next thing is we need to do the same thing for Minikube. See, coming to Minikube, same command we download from Google API. Then we executable, make that Minikube as executable using chmod plus into Minikube. Then we need to change the Minikube to directory, move to our local bin directory.
There is one difference. If you top command, you have a dollar into bracket curl minus s, so that will take the result of that command and put it in that path, right?
Yes.
Why do we need to do that?
Sorry. Once again.
If you look at the top line of your the current screen, you have release slash dollar sign bracket curl minus s https storage. So that dollar sign will take the result of that command and put it as the file path there, right?
Yes. This command, right?
Yeah, the one before. But we didn't need something like that for kubectl. Why is that? It's for Minikube. We didn't need that for Minikube.
Yes, because Minikube is a platform for accessing, for configuring, deploying all the things for Kubernetes actually. So we need the kubectl command. The first one for installing kubectl, that's all. We integrate all the commands in a single command. That's why it's a lengthy command, or else we can step by step, like curl to this is the first line, okay? Where this is the first line. Then we can change the modification to this. These are the second
Uh,
command, and this is the third line command.
no. He is asking about that dollar curl. The two times curl is there, right?
This
In
is
yes, you can see curl, dollar curl. The first is curl
It's
storage. This one, first one in kubectl. Why there
oh,
is
oh okay.
two?
Okay. Yeah, this right. This is
thanks,
Yes.
Pampa.
yes. The for example, this is the see. This is a URL, right? From here, this URL is HTTP storage dot. Then this is another. This is one domain actually. This is one subdomain. The storage. See, again there is another subdomain. This is not a subdomain. This is a domain actually. Google API.com is the domain, and storage is one subdomain. So then we forward slash then kubectl. This is actually, for example, there is a website, and inside the website some other content are belongs, right? Mm, uh, for example, we go to some contacts. Okay, we open a website, and there is so many options are there, like carrier page, contact page, then Instagram page. So many links are there, right? So these are some similar types links actually, forward slash kubectl release. So it will go to the corresponding page, kubectl release. Then go to then again forward slash then release. So that's the last part. Okay. So this is for first we download these things. Then again we need to care some more things. So these things you can see after release stable.txt. This is for downloading the stable text file actually. So in this command, we download two things. One is the main release things, and the second one is .text. This is a text file. Got it. So we download two things, the application file and a text file.
Actually, Amol, when both Minikube and kubectl, we are downloading from internet, but the path are different. That's why it's the path used is different, and the path used is different. That's there
Somehow
is
you
a
got it,
difference.
right?
I'm sorry, I'm not that clear on it. Can you
The main
It
thing is, for example, the first command we use for downloading Kubernetes. kubectl command line tool. Okay. For that, we need to download the kubectl package from internet. Okay. So we need
yeah.
to mention the internet package, internet URL. So this is the URL for getting the kubectl package. And we need one more thing, that is table.txt. So we again using the curl for specify the corresponding directory.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay, so it
Still
got that
downloading the
file
table
there and
text
it put
that
it
is
in that path basically.
yes, yes, yes.
But
So
why
in
would it not work if you just directly put that that whole command like with
no, no,
the
no, no,
stable.txt?
no, 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 because we can't I mean adding the whole
Oh, you
command.
have more path ahead of it. I see.
Yes, this is two path
I see.
actually.
I see. Okay.
See, you see the URL, right? One
Yeah.
is table.txt and one is release.
Right.
actually it is taking the value of that and putting
Yeah, it's
into
taking the
that
value of
path.
that. Yeah.
Value of that. That dollar means value. It will take the value.
Yeah. Yes. So
Okay.
it will take the what's written inside that stable.txt and put it there.
Yep. So we
Okay.
successfully,
That makes sense now. Okay, that makes sense.
yeah. So successfully we download both things like kubectl and Minikube. So this next thing is we need to mm, download the one more thing like install contracts. This is for Modible, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Now I install one service contract. This is for network purpose actually. Okay, it's a utility for tracking network connection. That is contract, because we set up in Kubernetes cluster. So inside we need to track network connectivity. Then I am going to permission to Docker, create a new group for Docker. Okay, so this is the command. Sudo user mod ag docker user double ampersand new group Docker. This is add our current user to Docker group and allowing to run Docker commands without sudo. So that's why I am using this command like sudo user mod ag docker user new group Docker.
So you add the current user to the Docker group.
Docker group.
And so he has permissions.
Yes.
So it will work like sudo user.
Without sudo, we can run Docker command.
You will be the he will have access to the Docker group, the current user,
Yes, yes, yes.
just like sudo does. But so you don't have to keep using sudo.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, I see.
It's giving the authenticity, what we call
Right, right.
authorization to the user.
Authorization. Yes, yes.
Okay. So the next command is start Minikube. Okay. So Minikube version abundant reflection using
I like how
Docker.
it has the emojis as the beginning of each line,
Docker driver should not use the root
like the Minikube.
page. See, existing due to dir as root, the Docker driver should not be used with the root privilege. That's why I'm switching from the root to Ubuntu. Then run the commands again, like changing, the user mode group, adding the existing user to the Docker group. Then again start the Minikube driver. So
I
now
don't see any difference. You like before also you
before I'm in root
use the
user.
same
See,
command.
before I'm in root, now I am in
Okay.
Ubuntu. Switching root user.
Okay.
He
That's
logged
why
out right above he did a
this,
log out,
because
use
Yeah.
exit,
this
then
tree,
Yeah.
exited, and
this
then
Also,
is
he
if we are in a root user, there is a no use of sudo, right?
yes.
Okay.
so he basically ended up adding root as the
Hmm.
Docker group person in the
Okay.
first command.
See, now it's creating our Kubernetes cluster and all the things in background. See, boot up
See,
control plane.
see it as a tractor for pulling the base image,
Yes.
tractor emoji, then there's a thumbtack
See,
emoji
done
for the.
kubectl. See, done kubectl now configured to use Minikube cluster and default namespace by default. Now our Kubernetes cluster for a test environment is done. So we can use kubectl command now. Kubectl get node. See, the Minikube is our node control plane. We have only one node, right? That's why it's seen only one node here. Kubectl get pod. See, now resources get the namespace. See, these are the namespaces here.
What is namespace?
It's a way to logically organize the cluster. So
So
each
different,
namespace, you have different projects, you could give different namespaces
Okay.
on the same cluster, right?
yes. So it's a logical grouping of resources. For example, we have multiple clients, okay, or customer. We need to create different namespace for deploying their application. Otherwise, all the
Okay.
application is under the default namespace. So we can create a namespace like using kubectl command, kubectl names create namespace, the name of the namespace. Like this is for our client, like Apple. See, namespace created. Get minus. See, Apple is there. kubectl get port minus n minus namespace applet. So this is the way we configure this thing. Okay, like so. Before we go with the declarative, right? So in this scenario, I will show you how to see kubectl get port. There is no port, right? So and there is no uh, port in our Kubernetes cluster. So simply we can create a port using, or we can install a application like Nginx using imperative way. Okay. So this is the way kubectl create deployment nginx deploy, then the image name. You need to mention the image name. Image is equal to nginx latest. Then we need to mention the replica. Replicas is equal to 4. Hit enter. See, deployment nginx deploy created. kubectl. It will hang actually.
Our
See,
voice is breaking.
okay, give me a second.
We can hear you now. It's only like you just have to repeat some sentence when it got scrambled.
See, our application, I mean, nginx, this is actually nginx web server, okay, only for the nginx web server. So our replicas, 4 replicas there. Now I'm changing to 3, okay. Deployments. It's added 2 more, yeah, it's adding actually. That's why if you have a declarative YAML pipeline, it will didn't overridden. So here it's overridden. So this is a way, the imperative way we deploy application. So using Docker Hub. So in Docker Hub, I have different application there. So easily I can take the image name and download or deploy application in Kubernetes. Just taking this is my tag name, Netflix, and I can use like latest. Then it will download the latest package and deploy in Kubernetes. Got it. Any doubt, anyone?
No, we need to do from ourselves. Then we'll get more clarity.
I have one application to deploy, so the time is over. I mean, late, right? There.
No, it's fine. I mean, from my side, it's fine.
Yeah, we can keep going. Yeah.
Let's finish it.
Or tomorrow we can deploy application. Which
We are
one?
fine.
All of you?
Other one, Shilpa and all.
Shilpa,
We are fine. I'm fine. Sorry.
all are fine, right?
Yeah, I'm fine also. Yeah.
So imperative way, I will run one more application. Okay. So kubectl run run what the name of the application. This is the name of the application. Okay. Then we need to specify the image. Okay, image name. So this is the image name. So just try. kubectl get pod. See, there is one. We didn't mention any replicas in this command. That's why it's default go with the one pod. Okay. Leave the Nginx actually. Nginx deployment there. So we have a to-do list application. It's running one by one. See, this is the application created. Then we need to expose the application, right? So in imperative way, how we exposing the application? This is the command. kubectl expose pod, the pod name. Type is load balancer or cluster API or node port. What type? So here it's pointing to node port. And the port number 80. We need to expose the application through port number 80. And the name. this name we can select any name. This is service name actually. For example, when we hit enter, there is a service created, right? So the service name would be like to-do list app service. Hit enter. See, service to-do list app service exposed. kubectl.
What does this means? What does this means?
Which?
So it means
This
on port 80,
This
it's
is
going
for
to, the
service.
service is going to be available.
Yeah, we created an application, right? Using the command
right.
line, we deploy one application, then we need to expose the application, right? In previous, in case, we
Oh,
expose, we
just a
create a
second.
service YAML.
1 minute. I'm confused with the first command only. If you'll get the first command, maybe the second command will be more clear. This to-do list, we are creating to-do list app with the help of kubectl. Is it like that? And
Yes.
what is this image? What does this command means?
It takes
This
that image cube code, React to do this tab,
this is
and
actually
uses
where
that image to run the.
yeah, where you see image in Kubernetes or Docker, that image is open image that belongs in where Docker hub. Just to copy, okay. Just to copy and go to the internet. Paste here, hit enter. It will point it to Docker Hub actually. We can see it in Docker Hub. See,
Down it was there.
yeah. Now I am in Docker Hub.
Breaking your voice.
Mm-hmm. See, you can see my screen, right? The community.
Right.
See, all can see my screen, right? So this is the
Yes.
image that we download when we using the command kubectl run name of the image. Then it will download that same Docker Hub image. That's why we are using the image here. So it will download the corresponding image and it will create a pod with the container. Then inside the container, the application is running because all the things in wrap up in the image, right?
Okay. Okay. The
Someone
image
create
is
someone create a Docker file, then they will build this application image, then they push the image to Docker Hub. So what we'll do, we just download the same image and run in our environment. That's all. Now we go.
okay. Yeah. Can we go back to the command? Yeah.
Which command?
Same the command we are discussing.
Now,
The last screen.
got it.
So we are pushing our application to-do list app
No,
in
no, no,
this
no, not pushing, not pushing. In
running.
declarative way, we pushing, but this is
Mhm.
imperative way. So this just we downloading the package from Docker Hub. Downloading the
So
image, not the package, image.
yeah, we are downloading by the command cube code. This is the package which we are downloading from the
And it
internet.
will run.
But
And it will run actually. We didn't bother about events will run that. That's why it's seen here. See, it will create a pod and there
uh,
is this is what actually this is the pod, okay? And where the container
so
is the container one by one. That means inside the pod our container 1 by 1 is ready. If 0 by 1, that means our container is not ready. Got it?
So to-do list app is already we have created, and via this command it is running in this pod.
I think
Yes.
the to-do list app, right after run, it says to-do list app. That is the local name that is given on the Minikube. You could
Pamba,
put some. You could say something else there if you wanted to.
Yeah, whatever that is. Oh, that is not already existing. It is creating
no,
at
no,
that
no.
time.
This is the command for running any application. Okay, kubectl run
Right.
command. Then we need
Right.
to specify the name of the application. So we can
Yes.
specify any name. Okay, for example,
Mm.
application. So where it is listing, see, this is where the name listing. If I
It should be existing application or any name. Like
no
application
any
should
name,
be
any name.
already available, right?
No, any name we can
You like
give.
gave it a alias locally to-do list
Oh,
app
Okay,
to the
that's
one
only
that is.
seen here. If I
oh,
like it's ABC, then it see in the pod name will be. This is actually the pod name. Okay.
okay.
Okay. Then we need to specify the image where we need to download the image. So we need to provide the name.
Okay.
So
Got it.
this is the username. Okay. This is a unique username in Docker Hub. Okay. And under the username, there are so many applications there. Okay. So we need only React to-do list application. This is React application. Okay. So it will
Right.
download. It will first go to search any name, any user, any unique username in Docker Hub. So this commands no, there is a kube code username there. Then it will search for the application name. I mean the image name. So React to do image, then it's there. Then it will download. If this image is public, okay, otherwise it won't download because it's private. Then we need to authenticate username and password like that. This is purely public image. That's why it's created and it will run and execute here. So this is in running stage.
Okay. Got it.
Then we need to access the application, right? In Kubernetes, how we accessing? We need to create a service connection. So same way I am using imperative way to expose application, kubectl expose. This is a way to expose Kubernetes. Then we need to specify the pod, okay? So in our case, the pod name is to-do list app. So after the pod, we need to mention the pod name. Then we need to mention the type. There are three types, node pod, cluster IP, and load balancer.
Good.
Here I use node pod and mention the port number to accessing the application. That is port number 80.
You could have put their cluster IP or load balancer, anything you wanted, right?
Then we need to provide a name for our service. Now we are creating a service, right? So we need to provide a name. So the name would be like to-do list app service. So that is
Uh,
see here.
I think a type load balancer we can't, because as you said, load balancer is only for production we generally use, and these are for
This is a
test
Minikube. Yeah.
Minikube. So
Yes.
Yeah.
either
Good
cluster
point.
or node.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
So now everything is fine, right? Our application is running. We created a
Yes.
we expose our application. So we created a service. Service name is to-do list application service, and we expose through node port. Now the application is accessible, okay, but for our virtual machine is not accessible. For that, we need to do what? Port forwarding. See, this is the way we port forward, okay. So here what will done here, kubectl port forward. This is the main command. I mean Kubernetes command. Then we need to SVC is service actually, okay. Short form of SVC is service. And we need to mention the service name. In our case, there are two service connections are there. See, kubectl get a service. There are two services. One is for the Kubernetes. This is main. When we creating Kubernetes, there is a service connection, default service connection. And this is a service connection we created. So that service connection, we are going to port forward. Okay. So kubectl port forward, then mention the service and the service connection. So here service and service connection is tool. Then we need to what? Expose the port. This is actually container.
Mapping the ports. It's currently exposed on the
yes, binding ports from container to
current port is 80, right?
So this 3000 is our container port and 80 is our what port? I mean virtual
service
machine
port.
And the address type is anyone can access. Hit enter.
Why is there an ampersand at the end of address?
Yeah, for ampersand we can see the port forwarding window here. Otherwise it's minimizing. See now it's the forwarding from.
Okay. If you didn't put the ampersand, you wouldn't see the process in action.
Yes. So now we can say our application is exposed and what actually the forward says pointing to 00. Anyone can access this application. That's why 000.3000 the container port. But we can directly access the container port, right? Because we need to go with the port number 80. First, we need to hit our virtual machine, right? So it's pointing to port number 80. See. Got it. My screen is visible.
No, your screen, we lost your screen. At least I did.
Now it's visible, right?
It's coming. Yeah, we see it. I see it.
All of you.
Yes.
So now I'm going with my public IP to accessing our application. Port number 80. It won't work, right? Because we need to enable the port number, right? So I will check one more thing. Anyone can try. Copy and paste it in the chat. Okay. Accessible.
Loading.
A to-do list application will be
Yes, I see it.
to-do list application.
Yes.
For
Yes.
me, it's not there. That the site can't be reached.
3000. After double colon 3000. 3000 is our port.
Put a port 3000.
Okay.
It's a very old to-do list from 1917.
Yes.
Yes, we can see it. I can also see it.
Okay. So this is a way of deployment, imperative way of deployment in Minikube actually, and we expose our application via node port. Okay. After that, we will do a port forwarding our service to 3000 to 80. 3000 is our local machine, virtual machine port number, and this 80 is our container port. Okay. Got it. All of you. I'm audible, right?